Warrior. So this is one of sjow's signature decks. I would actually go as far as to say it is his signature deck. He's hit #1 Legend on both North America and EU multiple times with different variations of Control Warrior. And he's probably one of the most experienced Control Warrior players in the competitive scene.
And I do give the edge to the Warrior in this matchup now. Especially if sjow has double BGH, he's really expecting a lot of handlock and Warrior. And he was well equipped for the control game. It's just that Paladin, like we said, has the edge, a very thin edge, because of qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the small things too. I didn't see any heals from sjow at all. Like if he had Antique Heal Bot or Farseer.
Yeah.
But if he's playing double Big Game Hunter, he did have to cut some things. So there is some give or take. Maybe he's not playing Dark Bombs. I don't know.
In the Legendary Series, Zalae was actually the first player to run double BGH in his Warrior deck from a few weeks ago. So it was really effective. That was actually the week that he qualified for the actual match day, which brought him to this week. So he had some success with it, and I'm not surprised that other players are starting to tech in. We'll have to see if that's what sjow decided to do with this deck, but he's gone through lots of iterations of Control Warrior, so I'm curious to see what he settled on for his matches today.
Well, he has to account for Zoo. Because just you have to, your due diligence, but it is Control Warrior. Or sorry, it is Handlock.
Yeah, which is expected. Zalae has run Warlock every single week that he's played, and it's been Handlock 100% of the time.
Harrison's a card that definitely can be a big swinger too if your opponent feels cornered to Jiraxis early.
Yeah.
And then you just obviously have the perfect answer to it.
It's a comfortable card to have as the Warrior player in this matchup. You know you're not going to use it anytime soon, but just the fact that you have it available for Jiraxis puts you at ease a little bit, I'd say.
Job's done.
Oh, that's a very big draw. Because now he can kill off anything that comes out on turn 4. Guaranteed. So, looks like this Mountain Giant will get smited for the most part. Without that shield block, I think sjow would have had to have a very scrappy way to kill it.
Yeah. Is there any merit to just Ancient Watcher tap in that scenario?
Yeah. If you feel like your opponent has the perfect responses and you play around it. I've seen it happen. It's not that it's the best play. In fact, it's not the best play on paper, but it's sometimes the smart play.
The more I see it, the more I like it, because it's just so likely. Well, not so likely, but I think it's more likely than not that a Warrior player will have an answer to your first threat. So putting the Warrior in a place where they're having to make tough decisions instead of just autopilot, shield block, shield slam, could shake things up a little bit enough to where you might be able to edge out.
No, that's a good point. You have an opportunity to utilize like his removal inefficiently, and then the Mountain Giant becomes safer. But I think in this case, you don't have a contingency plan.
True.
So I think playing the Mountain Giant there was okay.
Yeah.
sjow's wondering if he can give up 15 life here to take on Lotheb.
Or give up a Harrison Jones to
On curve, just to challenge him.
On curve, just a challenge. And Zalae has to be pretty happy to see that, because that's going to make that Jiraxis play later on just a bit safer.
Doesn't want to give up his life. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Because now, I was always told that, Harrison is the reason you can't play Jiraxis too early, especially if Warrior uses up a lot of cards.
Yeah.
But if you have Harrison used and you put Jiraxis out early, what does Warrior do now?
Yeah. Harrison, I feel like, is usually a really big win condition in this matchup. A lot of times games come down to whether or not you have a way to deal with a Jiraxis. And sometimes Harrison can be awkward to play, like if you have a handful of cards, or if it comes out at a time where fatigue is going to factor in if you draw into too much of your deck. But you're right. What do they do if an early Jiraxis comes out? they have enough removal to get through some giants, and they have enough removal to get through some big threats. But a 6/6 every turn for 2 mana can sometimes be too much.
Wow. Trading into it. I guess he's playing. I mean, this is Zalae's in a nutshell, right? To be very safe.
Exactly. Yeah.
His plays weren't very good, but I mean, at the same time, it's like this play feels very substandard because look how Warrior can take the board now very easily, keep a high health, high armor count,
and has a Acolyte of Pain on the board that doesn't have anything to answer to it, which has a potential to just give him even more card draw, which a lot of the times is big in this matchup because sometimes if Warrior uses a lot of the removal early, they can run low on cards, and getting more mileage out of the Acolytes is actually a pretty big deal, I'd say. In this matchup, in all matchups, but in this matchup, I think especially.
So he's now going to the root. Oh, nice tap to get into the Mountain Giant here. But I was saying he's going to the root where he's not playing for, like, he's not seizing the board and giving his opponent the ability to draw cards. He's trying to deny that because he could have played Dr. Boom. Very fortunate that he tapped into the Mountain Giant, but it seems like sjow once again will be prepared perfectly for it.
Yeah. Even has a chance to respond by putting out his own threat with the Shield Maiden here. Shield Maiden and Execute.
Yep, I think that's the strongest play available to him at the moment.
Yeah.
Kill off the Ironbeak Owl as well.
Shield Maiden can be a little bit awkward to deal with for Warlock as well.
It's very awkward.
Because you don't want to have to use a removal on it, because you know there's going to be a lot bigger threats. And Shield Maiden still, if it trades for like a Siphon Soul or something like that, then you still got the armor out of it, and you baited out a removal that's going to make your Alexstrasza, your Rag, your Baron Geddon stronger later on. Pretty good. And he actually doesn't have a really good way to deal with this right now besides Siphon Soul. I guess Dr. Boom would be a decent answer.
It is, but he played around. He played around the Acolyte drawing more cards in order to deny that card draw. Dr. Boom here still feels pretty powerful though, because he just used Execute as well, but it's like weaker because now this 7/7 gets challenged easily.
Yeah.
In fact, a cool Taskmaster on it just kills it.
Is there a better play though? I don't think so.
Well, you play Armor Smith first, so that you get the armor. Oh, I actually like killing off the Boombot first, so that way it can hit the armor. It might be able to hit.
Hopefully it doesn't hit the Shield Maiden for 4.
Right.
Okay, that's
Perfect.
ideal. Wow.
Well, I think ideal is actually hit the Shield Maiden for 1.
Oh yeah, I guess that'd be true. Since you're killing it off anyway.
Sequencing makes perfect sense here. Good play from sjow. Zalae, on the other hand, he has to make a couple of interesting choices here because, well, if he plays Hellfire, he does actually develop the board a little bit with the Ancient Watcher, but he's got nothing else. Like, Ancient Watcher is his only initiative on the board. His Molten Giant is too expensive right now.
You could still tap.
Well, he has to Hellfire tap.
Yeah, Hellfire
that
tap.
Ancient Watcher.
Yeah.
That's where actually, you know, maybe that 1 damage to the Boombot actually does end up being a difference. Well, these Boombots have been very feeble, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, sjow though, he's running low on cards here. I mean, what he has in his hand are pretty valuable. And whoa, Black Knight.
Very valuable card.
Yeah.
Especially in this matchup where you most likely will see a giant taunted up.
Yeah, that's a read from sjow, thinking that he's going to run into quite a bit of handlock.
I mean, he's correct.
Yeah, that's if you watch any competitive Hearthstone or have an idea, handlock is like the go-to choice for a lot of players, especially in the Legendary series.
So, Zalae looking like he wants to go for Molten Giant here and then taunt it up, but he is in for some very rough news. Oh, actually, he won't want to taunt up, right? He wants to taunt up the Ancient Watcher
Yeah,
instead.
smart play.
There you go. He's on point. I like it.
Very smart play. And now this is an awkward spot for sjow here.
Well, actually, it's okay because he has 11 mana at this turn, right?
But still, what are you gonna Black Knight an Ancient Watcher?
Well, it's a taunt that you have to get through.
That's true.
And it still puts a 4/5 on the field.
And I guess you can't really rely on like trying to draw into a brawl.
Right.
Uh,
It's like scenarios like this where Harrison actually becomes really powerful because normally his follow-up would be to Jiraxis and then you Harrison to destroy the weapon and draw 7 cards.
Yeah, this is usually the point in the game where warriors need some draw in this matchup. And this is a lot of times where that Harrison Jones comes into play. Because it eliminates an option from your opponent by saying, well, I can't play Jiraxis early because my opponent might have Harrison Jones, which will completely swing the game. But now Zalae can just freely play the Jiraxis without having to worry about it.
Problem is, I don't know if he'll be fully safe from Gromach if he plays Jiraxis.
Unless there's an empty board.
Well, I mean, he can be safe from Gromach now this turn if he just simply heals up and, you know, destroys things. But I'm just saying, if he plays Jiraxis, he won't be safe. So I think he's gonna hold off on Jiraxis. There's still no rush. This matchup tends to be very grindy.
This is a tough play. He's got a lot of situational cards.
Well, I think you want to play the Ancient Heal bot.
Do you want a
For
Shadow
sure.
Flame here? Get rid of your Molten Giant, hit it into the Sludge Belcher, and then Shadow Flame.
That's really convenient. The Owl.
Yes, it is. But he's not going to use it.
Okay, well, it makes it easier for the clear. So he just plays Ancient Heal bot. And then pass.
Huh. That seems like a really underwhelming play for that turn. I don't like Siphon Soul. Would Antique Healbot would have put him out of range, even with the Black Knight still on board. And now he's going to create a wall again, so actually this play's okay.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I don't think there's really any other choice but to rag here. I mean, you can Shield Maiden, which challenges the Molten Giant, but is that really effective? I mean, I guess the Molten Giant challenges the Rag also. So unless Rag hits the Molten Giant, then you're going to be in some trouble. And if it hits face, you're giving him a really easy a convenient Jiraxis turn without having to worry about Harrison Jones. Such a tough turn, I think. A tough turn with only 3 cards.
I think
I can take the hit.
Ragnaros is just too reckless. It just has so much potential to do nothing.
Sjow doesn't look too happy about that.
Oh no, look at it. Here's where I think you can Jiraxis now. In fact, I'm starting to think you should Jiraxis. You can start off by Mortal Coiling the 5/5 because this 2 health Taunter is not going to really do much for you. But I really like the idea of Jiraxis here. He already played Harrison Jones.
Yeah. So, and what else is he gonna do? I mean, he's got double Mortar Coil, double Dark Bomb.
You could play like Ancient Watcher and be really safe, try to tap to go deeper. But you already have a very good Jiraxis hand.
Yeah. Which I mean, I wouldn't put it past Zalae to take the safe way out.
You'd probably want to Mortal Coil first.
And he does take the safe way out.
Okay. I have to say that it's the less sexy play by a big margin. But
yeah. Zalae is not about that whole sexy life.
He's not about that. There's actually nothing wrong with playing it. He's playing around Brawl right now too. Wow. Okay. Very safe.
I think Jiraxis and then trading your Sunfear Protectors and Mortal Coil would even play more into Brawl. Or play around Brawl even more.
Well, I mean, by not playing the Sludge Belcher, you're playing around Brawl.
Yeah, that's true.
This Ragnaros is going to be uncontested.
Well, this is a little better. And this also
And kills a taunt. It's like, well, he needs to get past that taunt. Oh, sick. He's got Shyvana, so Sylvanas can now answer the rag.
Do you want to take the rag?
Yeah, he's got
regardless?
one card. Take
Okay.
it. Come on, do it.
So many possibilities.
It wouldn't be that strong of a rag, but it's a rag nonetheless.
The only other play is like to silence rag and then to like put taunts in his way. Do it. He knows this is the right play.
Yeah. You could tell it just hurts him right now.
Why does it hurt? This feels so good. You took rag.
I don't know. It just seems like it you could tell that it didn't feel good to do
You should be
Zalae right there.
smiling, Zalae. This is like school photo picture time.
Ah, well, show's saying, okay, that's cool. That's cool. There's the brawl. That could help, but right now is
You might have to endure one more round of
yeah,
pain.
I would
But
say.
then, like, if Zalae like catches on to it, he doesn't actually have to do anything. He actually can Jiraxis and pass.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Sjow was actually really hoping that this card was Gromosh. He could have won still. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that possibility. He could have
Yeah.
still won. That's actually, in hindsight, that's actually something that he was worried about then. So he does have legitimate concern.
Okay, that's why his face was so.
Right. If his opponent drew Gromosh or the other piece of Gromosh that he needed, the Cruel Taskmaster, then he would have won.
That's
Lost.
true. Very true. And he's gotta breathe a sigh of relief here. And
Possibilities.
Well, now he's almost certainly,
I'd
like,
say
almost guaranteed to win. I would say like 85 plus.
tap anti-heal bot pass.
Well, you can Sludge Belcher. There's really no rush.
I guess so.
You don't even have to play the Molten Giant here.
No, you want to play around brawl too. 'Cause that's one of the only things that he's gonna have to come back into the game.
Right.
And he wants to use the Cruel Taskmaster to give him a better chance of coming out on top of the brawl, but at the same time, he wants to keep the Cruel Taskmaster for an activator for Gromosh later on to give him a win condition.
I don't know if you can play like that anymore.
You just have to try and survive as long as possible. Give yourself the best chance of victory.
He dies if Rag survives, right? No, he can armor up.
Yeah.
Because he's only 6 damage from the hand.
I wonder.
Very, very tough, but I don't find a way Sjow can win from here. He needs to win this brawl to start things off. Then his opponent needs to actually be on fatigue damage in the next 2 turns. And then Sjow needs to draw a way to kill him despite all that. Get past his taunt and his heals.
That's gonna be a big deal. Oh!
Oh, Rag survives. I think that's like a case where you just like give up here. I
Yeah.
don't know what you can do here from Sjow. That's just unlucky.
And I guess that the Harrison Jones wouldn't even have played a
Right.
role in this game at all. He just didn't have what he needed, and Zalae, even though
It's still a very safe time to Jiraxis, but he refuses to.
he just... And you're not trying to hide it at this point either,
No, I mean most.
because it's
Most
pretty
likely.
obvious. Well, actually, I've seen Jiraxis being taken out in some handlock decks.
Well,
It's too bad that Sjow didn't draw these threats when he needed them, but more importantly, I guess Jiraxis and Harrison never came into play, so you could look at a lot of the plays that Sjow did and be like, well, you know, maybe you shouldn't play Harrison there, but Jiraxis never came out, so it didn't even matter.
Yeah. Well, Zalae's going to take a 2-1 lead in the series. So he's one game away from not only securing his spot in the semifinals of today, but also securing his spot in the matches next week for a chance to gain more points, for a chance to win again. That's if he doesn't even go the whole way to win, because, of course, the winner does automatically qualify for that $20,000 land final. So now we're going into that blind pick stage.